The more I think about success, the more trouble I have defining it. Success has become one of those bywords that we just accept at face value. But whatever it means, we use it all the time. We all want it. It may be the primary goal of modern life. We are always racing toward it, and yet no one ever seems to stop to inquire what exactly it is. While we may not know what success is, perhaps it might help to look at what it is not. There are some deeply entrenched misconceptions about success in American life, but I think they can be rooted out and rectified by changing the language that we use around this word success. Misconception number 1, that success is in the future. Let's look at the etymology of the word success. It comes from the Latin succedere, which means to come after. Around the year 1600, it came to mean a positive outcome, and only as recently as the 1890s did people actually start using it to describe the outcome of an entire life. So given the history of the term, it's not that surprising that we still talk about success as a future event. We think that if we are good enough and work hard enough for long enough, we will finally succeed. We'll just reach the top of the pyramid. And of course, nobody asks then what, because apparently we'll just stay up there. But that question is irrelevant, because success is eternally in the future. Like Jay Gatsby, that green light is always beckoning from across the harbor. Now, the hard and liberating truth is that real success, that quality that we're talking about when we call someone a success, can't be owned in the future. It has to be lived now. It's a style of interaction with the world, and it takes place in the present. You don't set yourself up for success. You just start living in a successful way, now. So this requires us to move in the same time frame as the world around us, rather than constantly tugging our attention backwards and forwards into the past and future with plans and worries and distractions. But when we attend to reality and live fully in the present, a wonderful thing happens. We gain the ability to see possibilities. The potentialities in each moment open themselves before us, and our attitudes become spontaneous, flexible, and successful. Misconception number 2, that success requires an exchange. The usual concept is that success is something we purchase for later with our present effort. We work hard and then we receive success, in that order. The greater the effort, the greater the success. Of course, we recognize that this is just an ideal, but in theory, that's how it's supposed to work. But if I may take a minute to question the logic of sports coaches and motivational posters, in my own experience, my greatest successes have never really felt like some massive outlay of effort in exchange for a hard-earned prize. They felt just more like things that just happened when I was doing what I love, when I've simply lost myself in a task. It wasn't painful. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was fun. Now, psychologists actually have a term for this. It's called flow. It's a mental state characterized by full absorption in a task and intense feelings of enjoyment. It's awesome. And an increasing body of evidence shows that it's directly related to performance quality. Best of all, it's intrinsically rewarding. We enjoy flow for its own sake, and so we're motivated to put more time and effort into our work, which leads to better results. So, what if we step outside of the exchange model? What if we think of success as more of like a relationship? In a relationship, there's no mechanical input and output, no exchange rate. Giving and receiving just happen simultaneously. And when we approach success as a relationship, work stops being this currency that we have to pay for success and becomes an end in itself because it's rewarding in its own right. Success isn't a transaction. It's a relationship, one that you maintain with the world and with your own life. Misconception number 3, that success belongs solely to the successful. So it's nothing new to point out that the American culture is terribly individualistic. From the restless pioneer and the lonely cowboy to the gutsy underdog and the masked vigilante, our heroes have always been these individuals, tough, self-reliant people pursuing freedom and glory. And there are many advantages to this, of course, but they come at a price. We have developed a skewed notion of success. We think that it's individual. Our unspoken assumption is that each of us is capable of doing well in every aspect of life all the time. And we spout off these cliches like nobody's perfect, but deep within, we cling to this nagging idea that those cliches only apply to those other people, and some sunny day, we alone will stitch together this seamless garment of a life if we can just get the formula right. But the truth is, success in an individual context is meaningless. There is simply no legitimate way to assign some kind of single, all-encompassing value like successful or failed to something as infinitely valuable as a human life. It can't be done, and it shouldn't be done. And so the more I think about what success is not, the more I distrust chasing after whatever it is. I think it's time we replace the word success with something that more accurately captures the kind of life that brings us fulfillment and joy. How about instead of trying to be successful, we try to be abundant? When we live abundantly, we don't incur jealousy. We inspire others to be abundant as well. When we live abundantly, we don't try to be perfect. We trust others to succeed where we fail, and we trust ourselves to succeed where others fail. And when we live abundantly, we stop focusing on ourselves. We arrive at a place where we, as a community, not you or I individually, can have fulfillment, joy, independence, and success. Whatever that means.